A quorum. I call the meeting to order. Would members of the panel on food safety and environmental hygiene please note that the regular meeting of the panel will start at 6 p.m. Right after this meeting, please attend it on time. Would the government officials please come into the room first? Item 1 on the agenda, election of chairman. Mr. Andrew Lam, chairman of the panel on development, agreed that I'm going to chair the joint meeting today. Any views from members? If not, I will continue to chair this meeting. We're going to discuss the new procedures for investigating water seepage in private buildings. I will first ask the secretary to brief us of the paper, as this meeting will only last about 1 hour. So please be succinct when you speak. As the secretary is on their way here and we're having a few meetings in parallel now, I know that members may have to visit different conference rooms. Members who'd like to speak can press the button now so that we know the order of speaking, such that you can come back to the room to speak in time. I'll read out the order. Mr. Lim Kwon, Ms. Jovi Chan, Mr. Stephen Ho, Mr. Hong Kamin, Mr. Chong Ho Fong, Ms. Christine Fong, Ms. Elik Chik, Ms. Kwok Fu Yong, Mr. Lam Chen Sing, Mr. Lau Kaka, Mr. Chen Ying, Mr. Yan Kuan Kit, Mr. Andrew Lam, and Mr. Chan Han Pan. So if you like to go to other rooms for other meetings, please go ahead. Secretary, welcome to this meeting. As we have a tight schedule today, please be very succinct with your presentation, because we now already have 14 members who have pressed the button to speak. Over to you, Secretary. Thank you. Madam Chair, members, good afternoon. Water seepage in buildings has always been a problem in the territory. In order to encourage owners to take up the responsibility to rectify the problem, the joint office set up by the FHD and BD will implement a pilot scheme this year to put in place new procedures for investigating water seepage in private buildings. There are 3 different advantages to the pilot scheme. We can encourage owners to repair and maintain their buildings as soon as possible. We can adopt advanced technology and resolve disputes. As stage 1, we are going to make use of infrared thermography to assess seepage conditions so that staff of FHD don't have to enter the upper limit before making a preliminary judgment on the source of seepage. The time to handle the complaints can be shortened from 71 days to 14 days. If the specified period of rectification is up to date, the FHD staff can make use of infrared thermography or microwave tomography for suitable cases. And mediation is an effective way for us to resolve disputes. Well, there are altogether 70% of water seepage cases in participating estates of scheme of participation by property management agents in tackling water seepage in residential building successfully resolved by property management companies effectively by means of mediation coordination. And by this, we can maintain the harmony of the neighborhood. To further promote mediation, the FEHD and the Department of Justice have been offering a free of charge training for property management industry personnel so that they can handle cases more effectively. Due to the positive response, we're going to increase the number of training places. The PMSA has also recognized the scheme as part of the continuing professional development scheme. Chairman, owners have the responsibility to properly maintain and manage their property. Under the pilot scheme, we're going to procure new tools and streamline the procedures so that the owner of the upper limit can be informed in time and take action. The government will help these owners to fulfill their responsibility. We will recover the cost of examination if necessary. We have always been promoting the relevant information to the public. Over the next few months, we're going to step up publicity and educational work. Now I will ask Mr. Yu, Deputy Director of Food and Environmental Hygiene, to give you a PowerPoint presentation. Thank you. The administration proposed these new measures because in the 2025 policy budget, it is said that we need to enhance the inspection and testing procedures for handling water seepage problems by utilizing technology. We need to require owners to inspect and rectify within the specified period of time, or else the government will take further action and recover costs from the owners. The target of this pilot scheme is to encourage owners to fulfill their obligations in properly maintaining their properties and to solve water seepage problems. There are three advantages to the pilot scheme, as mentioned by the Secretary. Through streamlining procedures and adopting advanced technology, we want to encourage owners of upper limits to rectify the issue. Second, we are going to adopt new technology at stage 1. When the joint office staff need to enter the unit to make a preliminary judgment, we are going to make use of technology to identify the source of water seepage. We are of the view that mediation and coordination among neighborhood is a very effective way to resolve the issues. I'm going to further elaborate later on. As I said, we want to urge owners to fulfill their responsibilities for proper maintenance of their properties. At stage 1, apart from entering the unit to test the water content to see if it's higher than 35%, we're going to introduce a microwave tomography test. This will allow us to identify the distribution of water. If there is reasons to believe that the water seepage is a result from the upper limit, we're going to issue a notification letter to the upper limit. Previously, we will only issue a notification letter after conducting all the tests. Now the time can be shortened significantly. Now we need 71 working days before we can issue a nuisance notice. After streamlining the procedures, we can issue the notification letter within 14 working days. So we have shortened the time taken by about 2 months. After issuing the notification letter, and if the owner does not fulfill their obligations within the specified period, that is 28 days, we're going to enter the upper limit to conduct a detailed test. If the test substantiates that the upper limit is the one causing this water seepage, and if the owner does not fulfill their obligations, we're going to issue a statutory nuisance order to make sure that the owners fulfill their obligations, to inform that there will be legal consequences. And as the GO need to enter the unit to conduct a test, we will recover the relevant examination cost from the upper unit. Through these changes, we hope that the owner of the upper limit will be incentivized to fulfill their obligations and rectify the issue. Second, we are going to leverage on technology. As mentioned, in stage 1, we used to just look at the water content. Now we are going to introduce this infrared tomography. As you can see on the screen, this technology will allow us to look at the distribution of the water content, and this will help our staff in identifying the source of water seepage. This will allow us to make a preliminary judgment on the source of seepage to see if it comes from the upper unit. Now, if the owner does not fulfill their obligations, the GO staff now is going to enter the unit, and we're also going to adopt technology to identify the source of seepage. This will allow us to do it in a more efficient manner. Third, on mediation. Now the PMSA have a scheme of participation by PMA in tackling water seepage in residential building. Currently, owners of units involved would go to the Center for Mediation and Coordination. The property management of companies told us that 70% of water seepage cases were successfully resolved by means of mediation coordination. So these 70% of the cases were not reported to the JO, and this shows that the coordination and mediation have been very successful. We'll continue to promote the scheme of participation. Hopefully more property management companies will participate in it. Currently, there are NGOs that offer free of charge mediation services online. As we hope that the property management companies will take a more proactive role in mediation, we're now working with the Department of Justice to offer training to property management personnel. We're not just only going to teach them technical skills in identifying the source of seepage, we're also going to train them on mediation skills. Approximately 200 property management personnel have taken part in the courses, and in the upcoming year we're going to increase the number of training places to 300. I've just covered the streamlined procedures. Now I will tell you the difference between the new and old procedures. Currently, at stage 1, we are going to measure the moisture content of the seepage location, and at stage 2, FEHD will conduct a color water test for drainage pipes. And if there is no positive result generated from the color water test, we're going to go for a professional investigation in the third stage. That may include ponding test for floor slabs, infrared thermography, or microwave tomography. Currently, if we're able to identify the source of seepage at stage 2 or 3, we're going to issue a nuisance notice to the owners of the upper limit, asking them to rectify the issue. If they don't follow the notice, we're going to apply for the courts for a nuisance order. Over the past years, we have issued some 5,000 nuisance orders. This slide illustrates the new streamlined procedures. Under the streamlined procedures, apart from using the electronic moisture meter, we are going to introduce the microwave tomography test. As the next step, we're not going to conduct further tests. We are going to now issue a notification letter immediately. If the owner of the upper limit does not fulfill their obligations, at the same time when we are carrying out inspection, we're going to at the same time issue a nuisance order. Previously, we had to go for a color water test, monitoring of moisture content at the water seepage areas. This is how we identify the source of seepage as soon as possible and issue an order to the upper unit owner to rectify the issue. As I said, if the owner of the upper limit does not fulfill their obligations, if the FEHD need to enter the unit to conduct tests, then we will recover the examination cost from the owner.
We will recover the cost of inspections. We will calculate the cost, including the inspection on stage 2 and 3. It will cover the involved staff, or if we need to hire the contractor and transfer materials, these will all be calculated. According to our estimations, the cost will be no less than 17,000 Hong Kong dollars. Apart from cost recovery, there are other channels for us to encourage owners to fulfill their obligations. There are supports provided. We will conduct different types of seminars for owners to understand related information. The Hong Kong Institute of Surveyors also prepared information pack. If you suspect that your unit has caused water seepage, there are also some detailed follow-up actions suggested. In light of the new inspection process, we will also invite those who are interested in supporting the water seepage handling. We will put together a list and upload it to the web page as reference for owners. Staff from BD will also understand will find out the reference market price of such works, so that those owners would have a reference point. They can either hire their own professionals. Anyhow, they will have a reference point that they can look at. Financially speaking, the BD has already offered them a loan scheme. Owners who are in need can ask for loans. Also under URA, there is another grant scheme for needy owners. Details are included in the documents. I will not go into details. Publicity and educational works is something that we emphasize. Since last year, we continue to explain the new procedures to the public. We have organized various types of seminars and events. On one hand, we will share with them the concept of the new inspection, and we also want to remind owners to fulfill their obligations of monitoring and repairment. We have prepared promotional videos that is disseminated online through social medias. We'll also promote the importance of handling water seepage. As we are going to roll out the new inspection process, later this year we will also strengthen our publicity works so that the general public and the owners will understand the new procedures. There will be some widespread advertising program, including the information that can be found at MTR and bus station. Speaking of our next stage of work, we expect to roll out the pilot scheme by the middle of this year. We will share the actual date and will carry out publicity works. We will first roll it out as a pilot scheme. We will collect feedbacks from the owners and understand the actual situation for review. If needed, these procedures will be optimized. That's all from me. Thank you, Deputy Director. Now we have at least 16 members who have pressed the button of want to speak. So 3 minutes. Question and answers include Mr. Lan Man Kwong. Thank you, Chairlady. I want to support the new procedures for investigating water seepage in private buildings because it affects the daily life of the residents and will affect the relationship between neighbors. It is good for us to expedite the process. I have 3 questions. First, regarding the notification letter, when you issue it, you would be issuing it on the grounds of naked eyes check as well as the infrared thermography check and the moisture meter. Well, if we cannot specify the source, will you opt out the notification letter? Second, speaking of technology, we know that microwave tomography and infrared thermography is something that is widely used, but you are now trying to recover cost and conduct some statutory actions on ground of this. How are you going to convince the public regarding its effectiveness? Finally, about the jurisdictions. Since the upper unit has received the notification letter and water seepage has stopped, but maybe the previous water seepage has destroyed certain installations in the lower unit, some cost in this regard will also be recovered from the upper unit. If they comply the notification letter, does it mean that they have accept responsibility and that the lower unit can ask for the cost of repairing their household? Thank you, Director. I would defer other questions to FEHD. Basically, the notification letter is a form of suggestion. We will not send out such letter unless we have confidence. The owners can decide to comply or not comply our suggestion. But if the joint office has to enter the premises, we will recover the cost. Well, but of course, if the water seepage is caused by external walls or other reasons, we will not issue the letters. After investigation, if we discover that this is not the case, or if the owners conducting their own investigations discover that the water seepage was caused otherwise, we also welcome that notification. But I understand that in majority of cases, it will expedite the handling of case and to reduce the responsibility. About technology and the legal issues, Chair Lady, I would like to supplement one point. That is, under what circumstances will we issue a notification letter? In the past, we only cover the cases of moisture over 35%. Now we would like to introduce infrared thermography because this technology has been used in other areas as well. This is something that is widely accepted. It is considered helpful because through infrared, we will be able to see to what extent was the moisture covering the area. It will assist our staff to make a sound judgment. They can consider how likely is such water seepage caused by the upper unit. Upon confirmation, we will issue the notification letter to the upper unit owner so that they will conduct investigation and repair work. As mentioned, if it is not involving the upper unit, we will not issue that letter. Thank you. Next, Mr. Chen Yan. Thank you, Chair Lady. We are thankful for the reform of the new procedures because it has been long exist. I consider that the establishment of case depends on the 35% of moisture. We understand that the result of such investigation will be affected by seasons. Is there any scientific ground of setting the level at 35%? Sometimes on the ceiling and on the walls, we will observe water seepage even when it hasn't reached the level of 35%. Will you consider to lower the threshold, adjust the moisture level, or to establish case even for the marginal scenarios? I know that for the housing department, they has also their own maintenance project, and they are different from the level or the standard that we're setting here. Even if they see some dispatchment of a ceiling paste, they will also conduct maintenance work. There are also some cases regarding the salt water and also the condensed water caused by air conditioning. Will you consider to take care of that as well? Also regarding the notification letter, in paragraph 7, it requires the owner to conduct the investigation and complete repairs work within 28 days. And in remarks number 3, it says that it will be extended appropriately according to the situation. I want to know what kind of situations are you referring to? Would it include the 3 new buildings, elderly owners, or when the owners is out of town? Secretary. I would like to defer certain questions to the Director of Buildings regarding the 35% of moisture. There are certain scientific grounds. You also asked about the special considerations. I would like to defer this question to the Director of FEHD. Recording that the condensed water droplets of air conditioning, it is completely different from water seepage because Hong Kong is a very humid city. During springtime, even some normal household can find some condensed water. It will not directly cause any hygiene issues. So on one hand, we will see if it is caused by the position of the air conditioner of their neighbors, or it can be improved by improving the ventilation. Sometimes in the kitchen, if you do not turn on the ventilator, then sometimes you will be causing condensed water on your own walls when you are cooking. So it is different from the issues of water seepage because we can find out the source, we know who caused it, and we can seek responsibility. Therefore, for other issues, we encourage people to resolve the dispute through mediation and through the property management company. Mr. Ho, is it possible for us to further reduce the level of moisture under normal circumstances for the plastering and concrete contains a certain level of moisture? if the structure or the fabric is located in a room that use water, let's say the bathroom, then it will be even wetter or more humid. If it has added moisture to the concrete and if it is not deviating much from the original level, then we know that it will not be possible for us to look for the water source. Therefore, from the perspective of law enforcement, we will be wasting resources without achieving our goals. That's why we would like to maintain it as 35%. Next, Mr. Ho Chun-yin. Thank you, Chair Lady. DBA has been concerned about water seepage issues. Just last year, or in the last administration, we have organized a lot of public events. We are thankful for HKSA, our government, for accepting our suggestion of the adoption of technology and to expedite the procedures. Maybe you can concern about the content because we are shortening the period from 70-odd days to just about 14 days. Maybe the citizens would expect the government tackling these cases very quickly. You have issued some 5,000 odd nuisance notice. But the procedures might affect the speed of issuing the letters, and the contractors might also increase the price. What is your estimations? Are they capable to pay for it? At the last meeting, you mentioned that you will provide a list that has to be licensed. If they're willing to conduct such works, their names will be put on the list. However, there are some elderly who don't know how to look it up online. Will you provide support? Perhaps you need to optimize your list. Now you will allow them to be on the list as long as they are licensed. In the future, will you also certify their ability? Well, because sometimes maybe the works will be sloppy, but still they will charge a very high price. In the past, when we inspect the windows, at the end we might end up paying tens of thousands. Because if you do not optimize the list, it will affect your credibility. Second, about the coordination mechanism. In the past, it takes over 70 days. If now the period of time is reduced to just around 2 weeks, maybe they are less willing to coordinate among themselves. How should the mechanism be kicked off or initiated, and when should they be starting the repairs works contract? What would be the reasonable expectations? Finally, do you have sufficient manpower? Because there might be a lot of people that ask you to enter the premises to take care of the case. Secretary, I will defer the questions to the Director of Buildings regarding the qualifications of the contractors. Actually, because the cases of water seepage will remain the same with or without the new procedures. We're not increasing the number of cases. What we're doing is to shorten the period and to expedite the handling so that the government would not have to spend a lot of time, go through numerous steps before we can start handling the cases. So what we are proposing now will not increase the number of cases. It is not going to happen. We are just shortening the time. The existing number of cases will remain the same. As for qualifications and number of manpower, I would like to defer to Director of Buildings. We will look for the service providers, and we are already putting together a list. Quite a lot of people in these businesses are interested in participating in such repairs works. Let's say today, on the professionals under the list of buildings ordinances are over 2,000. As for a minor works, we have over 10,000. We have already emailed them asking if they are interested in participating in the investigation of water seepage and repair works. Both HKIS and the Institute of Engineers have shown their interest. In the future, we will put together a list. As we notify the owners, we will also remind them to look for contractors from this list so that we can ensure the transparency for the price. We have already issued a questionnaire to the sector. We have received the responses. There are already some reference points. On our designated web page, we will also disclose all these prices so that the owners will know how to select the right personnel and to evaluate if it is reasonable.
Mr. Hong, come in. Thank you, Madam Chair. The Chief Executive, in his 2025 policy address, announced that the Joint Office will streamline procedures for investigating water seepage in private buildings. This is a response to people's demand. There is water seepage from the upper unit and from the external walls of buildings. The administration said that we're going to target the owners of the upper unit. But how should we hold the owners' corporations liable? There are different sources of seepage. They can come from drainage pipes. They can come from rainfall or external walls deterioration. I have come across several of such complaints. It's difficult for us to encourage the incorporated owners to assist in their owners. They often say that it's the problems with the upper unit, and the owner of the upper unit would say that it's not their problem. And in the end, we have to go to the incorporated owners. And very often, they just ignore the problem. So how can we further help them? Secretary. I will ask the Director of Food and Environmental Hygiene to talk about the responsibilities of the incorporated owners. Thank you. By streamlining the procedures for investigating water seepage, we want to address the cases with seepage coming from upper units. We want to streamline the procedure so that the owners of the upper units can start their maintenance work as soon as possible. There are some cases with seepage not coming from the upper unit, but from the external walls or rooftop. The relevant incorporated owners have responsibility to address the issues. If we come across such cases in the course of our investigation, we're going to refer the case to the relevant incorporated owners and the buildings department. This part is not changed. To put it simply, if we can rule out the upper unit as the source of seepage, then we will refer the case to the incorporated owners. Thank you. Next, Mr. Chong Ho-fong. Thank you, Madam Chair. I support the improved procedures. I have 3 questions. First, the new procedures is to target seepage coming from upper unit. The administration said that in general, most water seepage cases have to do with the upper units. How did you arrive at such a conclusion? Is there any statistics? Second, you said that you're going to make use of technology. You're going to use infrared thermography or microwave tomography. However, there are professionals in the community saying that the technology is not exactly accurate. The result may be different in different weather. What is the cost of conducting infrared thermography? Can we adopt it at stage 1? The paper says that the examination cost is at least $17,000. It includes manpower, logistics cost. So how much does the material manpower cost? Can you give us a breakdown? Lastly, on law enforcement, you said that you have already issued 5,000 nuisance notices. By issuing such a notice, you can penalize or fine them $25,000 or $450 per day. So I wonder how many of the owners that have been issued with the notice have been fined $25,000. I will ask the Director of Buildings to elaborate on how they make use of the infrared thermography technology and the cost, and then I will ask my other colleague to talk about law enforcement. We have conducted numerous investigations regarding water seepage. Over 90% of such cases have to do with seepage from the upper unit. We're not just talking about substantiated cases, but actually almost 100% of the complaints and cases have to do with water seepage from the upper unit, and that's why we are improving the procedures. Mr. Ho, can we use the infrared thermography at stage 1? And what about the $70,000 question? Well, infrared thermography is rather complicated. We need professionals and technical staff to conduct such a test, and it has to be accompanied by other tests. After conducting the test, we need a professional to analyze the result before we can identify the source of seepage. And there are certain limitations to it. If there is concrete spalling and if the wall is not flat enough, then the infrared thermography may not be as effective. And it takes a longer time for us to get a result, and it will not assist us in issuing a notification letter better or faster. Microwave tomography is faster. It allows us to look at the distribution of the moisture, coupled with the analysis of the environment at the scene. We are able to make a preliminary judgment and issue a notification letter as early as possible. We think that this is the most appropriate way, and we think that is the best for us to use infrared thermography at stage 1. There's not that much limitations to the use of such technology. Maybe the FEHD can provide us with further information as to the breakdown of the $17,000 examination cost. Ms. Christine Fong. Thank you, Madam Chair. This streamlined procedures for investigating water seepage is one of the greatest policies in the policy address and fully support it. We have come across so many water seepage cases in private buildings in various districts. Many incorporated owners, property managed companies, owners try to delay the rectification. By introducing this microwave tomography at stage 1, we can shorten the time of issuing notification letter to as short as 28 days. Now, contractors can only enter the unit from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. We will extend it. Second, regarding the whitelist, can we ask the users to give us a feedback so that we can evaluate the performance of the professionals and practitioners in the whitelist? Third, I wonder if the commercial buildings will be covered in the pilot scheme. Fourth, I have helped residents applying for subsidy from the Urban Renewal Authority, but as we need to streamline procedures and enhance efficiency, will the Buildings Department offer approval in principle so that owners can obtain some support for rectifying the issue earlier? Secretary. I will ask the Director of Food and Environmental Hygiene to answer the questions on the time when the contractors can enter the unit. As for the costs, I will ask the Director of Buildings to answer that. Mr. We don't have, we address all water seepage issues regardless of whether it's in a commercial building or private residential developments. We extend the time contractors are allowed to enter the unit. Well, we amended the ordinance last year. The time used to be 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and after the amendment, the time is extended to 10 p.m. So our contractors can enter relevant units for investigation from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. now. Mr. Ho, please. Thank you. The Buildings Department is now operating a building safety loan scheme. We have an interest-free or low-interest loan for owners. With this streamlined procedures, we have now a new practice. We have now a prescribed form. When the owners have all the information and complete the form and submit it to us, within 14 days, we will be able to issue a notice of approval in principle to owners so that they obtain the loan quicker. Ms. Elaine Chick, I fully support the streamlined procedures for investigating water seepage. Many people hope that with the new procedures we can resolve the problems. With the notification letter issued, we can ask the person responsible to address the issues because they wouldn't want to shoulder the $17,000 examination cost. With the 28-day deadline in place, owners will have to now address the issues within the specified period. So I wonder if you're worried that the market will raise the price given the examination cost of $17,000. Eventually, the owners of the upper unit will be the one to suffer. I wonder if the administration have any ways to prevent such from happening. Secretary. Well, owners do not have to rectify everything within 28 days. That's not a set deadline. If they need more time to repair their buildings or unit, they can let us know and we may extend the period. However, within these 28 days, they need to engage someone to inspect if there is any water leakage or seepage from their unit. And they need to let us know what action they're going to take. So it's not the case that within 28 days, definitely they need to solve the seepage issue. We have regards to each and every cases. As for the price, I will see if the Director of Buildings have anything to add. We are going to have a white list, and as long as we have enough interested professionals and practitioners, and if we have a large enough pool and reference prices, and as long as the information is open and transparent, owner will be able to assess if the charge is reasonable. We may ask the owners to give us feedback, and we may publicize it. Ms. Kwok Foo-young, thank you. I have been, well, this issue has been great concern to me as I serve my district. I am encouraged to see that administration is making use of technology to resolve these long-standing issues. Now, I have some questions regarding some operational details of the scheme. The administration just now said that they have some loan scheme and grant scheme to help owners answer to the notification letter. According to the government's reply to this finance meeting, they need some 155 days to process these applications. That's about a few months' time. Now, owners are asked to obtain a quotation within 28 days and come up with the action to be taken. And given the length of time taken to process the loan applications, how can we address the time gap? And there are cases where units of several different floors are involved. I've received a letter from a member of the public. The seepage come from saltwater pipe, external wall, and rooftop. And all these problems cause nuisance to the people. So these are my questions. Thank you.
저
Director of Buildings, can we speed up the approval of a loan application? Yes. We have already reviewed the procedures in a comprehensive manner. As mentioned, there will be a standardized form that is designated to this scheme to make sure that there are necessary information and there are useful information. Within 5 working days, we'll be able to approve the application in principle if they have provided enough information. Well, within 14 days, we would like to release the first installment of the loan. FEHD, complex cases of multiple sources. Well, for water seepage, we believe that the upper unit is a major source of the issues. From the statistics that we provide, from all the issuance of nuisance notice, 99.5% was caused by the upper unit. But of course, there are also other sources, including the external walls. Well, even under existing circumstances, for the sources like water supply or external walls, the joint office will complete the work first, and then we will refer the related cases to the relevant departments, for example, the WSD or the Buildings Department. Next, Mr. Lam Chen Sing. Thank you, Chairman. Just now, the director said that it is usually caused by the upper unit. Sometimes the second floor residents will complain the third floor, but they are also the victims, so we have to trace up, and finally the original source was on the 5th floor. If we have to go one floor to another floor, maybe at the end of the day everybody have to pay $70,000. Well, because of that, will we be able to be more detailed in stage 1 so that we can locate some water seepage issues that are multi-stories so that we can find out the real source sooner? Second, after the issuance of notification letter, within 28 days, they have to abate the nuisance. But still, there are some tricky issues. Maybe in some old buildings, there are 2 elderlies living there. They are the caretaker, maybe a 70 years old is taking care of an 80 years old. They have to find time to look for a contractor. They wouldn't know what have been done, and maybe the plumber didn't finish the work. Maybe the seepage will continue. In situations like that, it is truly tricky. It may not be able to complete within a short period of time. For these kind of special cases, it is a must for them to complete it within 28 days. Will you be given any discretion if they cannot complete the works in 28 days? Will there be discretion given to them so that there will be further follow-up? Actually, you have responded to it, Secretary. Yes. The reason why we set the deadline as 28 days is because we want the upper unit owner to carry out action as soon as possible. Within 28 days, if they have already asked people to investigate it, if there are other reasons, if longer time is needed, they can talk to us, and we will consider it on a case-to-case basis, so they don't have to worry. They can ask for a longer time. Regarding the upper unit, well, because if we have to cover all the 10 floors, it may take a long period of time. Upon receiving the complaint, we will send a notification letter. If the upper unit said that they are also a victim, they can notify us immediately. So they don't have to conduct any work regardless. It is not the case. We are just giving them some time to look for the source. If they are not the source, they can notify us. Or if they discover that it is caused by their upper unit owners, then they can also notify us. So you don't have to worry. Even if you are not the source, you will not be caught in trouble because of our notification letter. And next, Mr. Lau Kang. Thank you, Chair Lady. I support the new procedures and pilot scheme proposed by JO in order to resolve dispute caused by water seepage. I have a number of concerns. In paragraph 7, it said that normally the owners will be required to conduct investigation within 28 days. In remarks number 3, FEHD may, having regard to the circumstances of individual case, extend the specified period as appropriate. Can you share the details of your criteria? There might be some special cases. Sometimes maybe the maintenance works may need to wait in line and it takes 28 days. Maybe they have financial difficulties, or it is just a tenant and the owners is out of town for a long period of time. These are all special cases, and how would you handle them? Many members have also mentioned about the 17,000 Hong Kong dollars. Can you consider to reduce the administrative fees? How about you charge it as a fixed cost item? Many have also asked about the loan. Is it possible for us to apply for it on the apps IM Smart Plus? Thank you, Chair Lady. Secretary. I would like to defer the special cases question to the Director, as well as the application for loans. All right, FHD. In paragraph 7, it says that having regard to the circumstances of individual cases. Well, one of the major considerations is that whether or not the owner has carried out certain actions to investigate or to complete certain works. Let's say the works has commenced already. If there is some weather situations causing some postponed in the works, then of course we will give them discretion. Just now the Secretary has already explained that. Speaking of the cost, no less than 17,000 Hong Kong dollars. It is calculated based on cost recovery. It is not a penalty. If we require the JO staff to enter certain premises and conduct investigation, the investigation cost will be no less than 17,000. Director Hall, anything to add regarding the loan scheme? We will explore that. We want to see if we can accept applications through electronic means. Thank you. Next, Mr. Chen Chen-ying. Just now, Mr. Ho Chun-yin has asked about manpower. I refer to your statistics. The JO has completed 15,600 cases. It is 43 cases per day. Upon the improvement, do you need to add manpower? The cases of investigations, do you think you will continue to uphold the level of 43 cases per day? In order to resolve water seepage dispute, it is important to have cooperation between owners. The involvement of the property management company is also important. 250 property management company has already participated in your scheme, but in Hong Kong we have a total of 700, and the 250 residential complex may be focusing on certain property management company only. Will you roll out certain measures in order to encourage those small property management companies to join your scheme? These are my two questions. Secretary. For sure, we want to expand our training scope for the property management company. Speaking of manpower, what we're doing now is to expedite the procedures. We don't believe that we need extra manpower. I would like to defer it to FEHD. Director. Well, for the new procedures, there might be some places that we can save efforts because not all cases need to move to stage 2 and 3. If the owners are going to do it by themselves, then our staff will not have to enter the premises. At the same time, there are other areas that cause additional workload. For example, for all cases, we have to issue notification letters. Overall, we believe that we have to wait until the pilot scheme rolled out before we can review the need of our manpower. We want to reserve the flexibility. About the property management company. Well, of course, we will organize mediation training courses. However, together with the PMSA, we will also have a lot of cooperation. we will send our staff to join the courses in order to explain techniques concerning mediation. Chair Lady, they have training courses, but it is not enough to meet all the demands. Would you consider to produce recordings so that more property management personnel would at least have some basic understanding of those needs? It is a good suggestion. We will consider. Next, Vice Chair, Mr. Young Wing Kit. Water seepage questions is something that is truly disturbing. And this new procedures is very helpful. I am very thankful. But there are a few points for your considerations. Regarding the moisture level, you have mentioned that 35% is a good reference point. However, 25% is already very wet. Well, with your new technology, how about you set it as 25%? It can be activated immediately. You don't have to wait until it is 35%. Well, you are setting the level as 35% is because there are a long queue. So you are trying to shorten the waiting queue. And now, since you're expediting the procedures, would you consider to lower your level as 25% so that more can be benefited? Second, although you can prove that it is the upper unit that causes water seepage, sometimes the upper unit could be a subdivided unit, even the ownership is divided. How would you issue the letters to them? Will it cover all the owners of the subdivided unit? How would you handle it in reality? I also hope that you will continue to promote water seepage arbitration. Most of the cases can be settled through mediation, like the Whampoa Garden. There is a case between a lawyers and a doctors, but it is impossible for us to mediate such case. There might be 5% of remaining cases. Can it be covered through arbitration? If you offer them arbitration, then you will reduce them from paying astronomical attorneys' fees, since they can stay away from going to court. Director of Buildings, is it possible to further reduce the moisture level? From our experience, if the moisture level is as near as 35%, it is quite unlikely for us to look for the water source. To effectively make use of public resources, we cannot just casually adjust this moisture level. If there is continued water seepage, maybe when you file the complaint, maybe it is not up to 35%, but by next month it might be. So at the end of the day, there will be a case established. Of course, the JO will carry out investigation. After the issuance of notification, if there is no action carried out, then JO will take action. Secretary, arbitration as well as the subdivided units. Well, the notification letter will be sent to the unit owners. It is not sent to the tenants. As Mr. Yang has mentioned, there are certain cases, simply put, there will be some subdivided unit, but it is owned by the same person. Well, I'm talking about cases when there is divided ownership. Well, the letters will be issued to the owners. If there are a number of owners in the same unit, then we will look into the actual area and issue the notification letters accordingly. As for mediation, we find it a very effective measure. We will continue to promote the works of mediation. Next, Chairman, Mr. Andrew Lam. Speaking of the source of water seepage, I believe that it covers the water supply, FS, the structure of external wall, as well as drainage. When complaint is received, maybe the resident would not be aware of the source. However, through the system, we will be able to find the source. I truly support it. When you respond to other members, you said that upon investigation, if it involves the water supply system or external walls, you will refer it to related government department. I have two questions. I want to understand, when you follow up within the government, what will be the workflow? Second, for the residents or for the general public, they have to reach out to the JO, right? So after follow-up actions, if it has been referred, would it be the JO who notified the residents to follow up the actions?
Chicho.
Director? Mr. Ng. Thank you, Madam Chair. Currently, if water seepage comes from rooftop, external wall, or water supply system, we will refer the case to the relevant department. If it has to do with water supply, we will refer the case to WSD. If it has to do with building structure, then we'll refer the case to the BD. The member asked how we're going to inform the complainant about the result of the complaint. The relevant department will directly talk to the complainant. Next, Mr. Chan Han-pen. Thank you, Madam Chair. I thank the Bureau and Department for implementing the pilot scheme. Last year, the panel moved a motion to reform the joint office. This streamlined procedures is a big reform. I very much welcome it. I asked for new technology, say for example, infrared thermography and microwave tomography to be adopted. Now, under the pilot scheme, at a relatively early stage, we're going to be able to make use of this technology. Now, I have some questions. What is the division of duties among the two departments? At the initial stage, the FEHD is going to conduct tests, and the BD is going to process the case at a later stage. So what is the division of duties among the two departments? Second, well, the quality of professionals and practitioners working on seepage identification and waterproofing vary. We don't have a accreditation program for workers working on examination and waterproofing. People often just ask renovations worker to detect water seepage, and they ask the same person to do waterproofing on their unit. So how can we make sure that members of the public will be able to engage someone reliable to work on the waterproofing or identify the source of water seepage? Now, you said that if water seepage come from the external wall, buildings department will be responsible, but how will the case be followed up on? Secretary, I will ask the director of buildings to elaborate later on. Well, in general, the joint office involve both the FHD and BD, so basically they work together. Now, the notification letters is issued in the name of joint office, but basically FHD is the one to send the letter. Now, if we need to issue a nuisance notice, FHD is also the one to issue it. If we need to, say, leverage on technology to confirm the moisture content of 35%, and if we need to use infrared thermography and microwave tomography and to analyze the data, the buildings department will be responsible for that. As for the question on professional accreditation, Mr. Ho will answer the question. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. We have talked to the Institute of Surveyors. On their website, they already have an information pack on water seepage investigation and repair, providing information on identifying seepage signs, simple testing methods, practical repair advice, so on and so forth. The joint office have organized seminars and talks at their various districts as to how we can address the issue of water seepage. As I said earlier, we are going to publish on our dedicated webpage a list of professionals, repair contractors, and licensed plumbers interested in providing water seepage investigation services. Now, we are talking to the Construction Industry Council as to whether we can establish a certification program for interested service providers. We have consulted many contractors and professionals. They said that they're interested. Well, many of them said that they're interested in being included in the list. Sorry, we're running out of time. We need to start the next meeting at 6 p.m. Mr. Vincent Chang. Sorry, I was in another meeting. I'm not sure if my questions are the same as that of other members. I welcome the new arrangement as well. I used to be a district councillor of the Shamshui Po. I received many complaints on water seepage, and many of the cases could not be resolved. I hope that this new pilot scheme will be useful. I have questions regarding basic housing units. Usually, the water seepage come from the subdivided units at the upper floor. And I know that the government has been working on the issue of subdivided unit. We are starting the registration and recognition for basic housing unit. Under the basic housing unit ordinance, there are requirements on installing a separate toilet. There has to be waterproofing at the floor slabs and walls. Now, I wonder if the Bureau will talk to the task force on the BHU. I hope that the owners of the basic housing unit will be informed of the new requirements. Thank you. Secretary. In regular buildings, there is also water seepage problem, so the joint office, if they discover that the upper unit is in breach of other laws, we will refer the case to the relevant law enforcement agencies. Will you inform the owners of the basic housing units of the new requirements? Secretary. Of course, the relevant task force on the BHU is well aware of their new requirements, and we may work with them on promotion and education. Next, Mr. Jonathan Leung. Thank you. I fully support the new procedures for investigating water seepage. As a district councillor, for many years, I have received so many complaints on water seepage. I believe that the new pilot scheme will be very useful. Given the new procedures, owners that were slacking off or owners that didn't have enough information may start working on their issues now. Sometimes the problem lies with the lack of knowledge with these security guards or incorporated owners. And so it's difficult for owners to seek help from them. I know that there is a training program. You have already trained 175 property management personnel, and in the future you're going to offer some 300 more training places. In Hong Kong, we have 800 property management companies. Now we have 250 companies that have participated in your scheme. In the future, we may have more. How can people tell if the professionals or practitioners have undergone training? The administration just now said that they're offering online training courses, but we need to make sure that people are able to identify the person who have received training. We always want people to resolve issues on their own, just like how we deal with a minor car crash. So how can we make sure that the people know whether a professional or practitioner have been trained? Director of Food and Environmental Hygiene, please. As mentioned in the paper, we have a scheme of participation by property management agents. And we have been in close liaison with the property management industry. We offer them training on practical techniques and fundamental knowledge and skills. The PMSA have been training their practitioners, and we sent staff to PMSA to offer also training for property management personnel and teach them how to resolve water seepage cases. I know that the PMSA mandate the practitioners to take part in continuing professional development scheme. The panel on food safety and environmental hygiene meeting need to start at 6 p.m. There are 2 members waiting to speak. If there's no objection, I may need to extend the meeting further until all the questions have been answered. Please observe the time limit of 3 minutes, Mr. Shu Ka-fai. Thank you. I thank the administration for helping residents identify the source of water seepage and ask the liable owners to be held responsible. The overall direction is good, but regarding the overall procedures and workflow, for salt water pipes that go into the unit, is that included in the pilot scheme? If the water seepage happened because of the leakage of saltwater pipe, will the new procedures apply? Director of Food and Environmental Hygiene, please. Regarding supply of salt or fresh water, if the water seepage case has to do with that, we refer it to the WSD. Well, if that's the case, you have to pay attention to this problem. I know that you're conducting color water tests. If the water seepage come from the salt and fresh water pipe, then it may be difficult for you to identify the source. How will the WSD resolve the issue? You need to let us know how they're going to do it. Can they, say, increase the water pressure of the pipes to identify the source? Now, one more point. My colleague told me this. They are the owner of the upper unit, and the owner of the lower unit complained about their unit for water seepage, and the government came to conduct moisture tests. The result shows that the moisture level is less than 35%, and they made the complaint again. On second round, the moisture level was tested at some 90% or 99%. My colleague said that is impossible. They were suspicious of the owner of lower unit spraying water at the ceiling, and as a result, the JO officer were able to come up with the result of, say, 99%. They questioned the JO officer. However, the officer replied that they only follow the procedures. My colleague was suspicious of certain falsification. Police was called, and after that, the case was withdrawn. So I think that we need to not just pay attention or make sure that the owner of the upper unit fulfill their obligations. We also have to be mindful of the possibility that the owner of the lower unit may also falsify the water seepage issue. Because we are not able to measure the moisture level inside the concrete. If you spray water to the ceiling, then it's definitely going to be wet, and the moisture level could be more than 30%. Of course, I understand that it's more likely that the owner of the upper unit is more problematic. This is a warning for everyone. Next, Ms. Julia Lau. Thank you, Madam Chair. As the chairperson of the Institute of Architects, I fully support the pilot scheme, and the buildings department have been talking to us, asking us if we can provide relevant service. Regarding the whitelist, there could be problems of communications. I hope that we will be included.
問一問咧，我
The last one, my turn to ask. I believe that it is a good policy because in the past, it takes a long period of time, causing a lot of complaints, and it is also something disturbing to the resident of the lower unit. In 2019 to 2023, every year you have received water seepage complaint of up to 30,000 odd to a total of 34,000. After expediting the procedures, do you think you will be able to clear the waiting queue within a short period of time? Do you have such a KPI or objective in order to clear the accumulated cases? Secretary, I would like to defer it to the director of LVNH. While the number of complaints is numerous, submitted to the LegCo in 2025, we have received 46,000 of complaints. Under the new procedures, we hope that we can expedite the process. We want to support the residents of the lower unit because they were disturbed by water seepage. Under the new procedures, is it possible for us to shorten the investigation and speed up the handling of cases so that we can reduce the number of accumulated cases? This is an objective that we hope to achieve. As for how many can we reduce? Are we able to shorten the waiting queue within a short period of time? We hope and we believe that after rolling out the pilot scheme, if it is helpful, or if there are room for improvement, we will improve it accordingly. And our goal is to speed up the handling of these accumulated cases. If there is no other questions, the final item is any other business. If there is no any other business, meeting adjourned. Thank you.